everybody. I should start my can before I start the show. Hey, welcome to episode 97 of the Blathering. We are live. So live, I haven't even got my drink ready. That's okay. Some people are going to join in a little bit. That's what happens. Some people are going to call in a little bit. That's what happens. That's what we do here on the show. My name is Ken Napzok. This is the Blathering. That is the official housekeeping. I don't even know if people... You know, I'm old school. I get it. I know it. I don't even think people like introductions anymore. That's old man at clouds. That's the thing. You're swiping along. You know, when you're swiping, you got 5 seconds to not only grab them, but to make them love you forever. I was doing the motivations with Ken's for a while. I brought them back. I just don't think they work for a modern age. They're too slow. And it's not an ASMR channel, so people want it fast. Not yelling. People are tired of yelling. For the most part, I think people are getting tired of, you want sports highlights. You can't even get that anymore on ESPN. You tune in ESPN, and it's just Stephen A. Smith and a bunch of shit dicks yelling. And he's a shit dick, too. So I think people are growing tired of the yelling. They're growing tired of the grifting. But that doesn't mean you like slow, contemplative videos that are satirical and maybe sardonic. In other words, I don't really know the meanings of. And I don't think you like introductions. I don't, as a society, I just don't think you do. We finished. That was a big pour on this Bacardi Lime. I like rum. It's the only thing that kind of keeps me from not dying the next day. And I don't drink a ton. It's Thursdays now is mostly what I drink. But I love that Bacardi, not a sponsor. Who would sponsor this shit dick? Not a sponsor. But I love that they've been putting flavors out there. Lime, the Dragonberry. The Dragonberry's so popular, I can't even get it anymore. I go to my guy, because you got to have a guy. And I go to the guy, and he's like, get out, done. Can't keep it on the shelves. So I've had to switch to the lime, and then there's a lemon rum we're going to try later. Oh, my gosh. Okay, people are checking in here. SMG 311s. Said happy to see you. I'm happy to see you. We also have Major Problems checking in. Salute. And we want to give a special shout-out to channel member Michael McCarcel. We call him Dr. McCarcel. No, well, Detective McCarcel. I just gave you a doctorate, Michael. You're a detective and a doctor. He's back. I'm engaged. Thanks for all the love last week, everyone. Yeah, we have been tracking Michael, getting ready to pop the question, and he did. It went well. There you go. Laura Romo's here. Trey T's here. Did someone say ASMR? Yeah, Sports Card ASMR hit its goal. I got minor, small, tiny, humble goals on my ASMR channel. You can subscribe down below if you're here on YouTube. And we got 750 subs, not 750,000, not 750 million. I ain't that guy. But I got 750, which we unlocked a goal. We're going to open up a pack of 1989 Fleer, see if we can get that Billy Ripken fuckface card. I'll say it here. YouTube can demonetize me. I don't care. We're in that mood tonight. Big Lou's here. Haskell's here. Jonas Bergen's here. This is the part of the show where I just go, people are here. Kat Von D. I always say Kat because I knew Kate Van D. But I see it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, oh, it's Kat Van D. And both of you are welcome. I love that Kate's here. She says, I love old school radio. I go to sleep listening to Ron and Fez. I don't know who Ron and Fez are. I need to learn who Ron and Fez are, but I like that you do that. Jeremy Miller says, hi. Hi, Jeremy. First time here in a while. I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back. I think I'm screaming. I was making fun of Stephen A. Smith for screaming. Now I'm screaming. And now, throat's all scratchy. We got calls coming in tonight soon. If you want to call in, become a channel member, and become a Patreon supporter, KenNapzok.com/Patreon. Patreon. No, what is it? Patreon.com/KenNapzok. I've been working all day. This is work as well. We got a super chat from SMG. I love that. This is a great supportive thing to do, and I really appreciate it. But SMG 311, so humble, he didn't even ask a question. So SMG, you got the floor. Ask a question. Ask a question. I'm not having a bad day. I'm not having a bad week, but it's been a busy week. Grace has been out of town, my wonderful fiance, and you know what that means? Woo, bachelor week. Look at that. And I got to admit, Michael Gonzalez says I'm looking more like Tom Segura every day. Tom's losing too much weight. I can't keep up with him. Tom Segura is now smaller than me. I think he's taller than me, but and I've never met Tom. And I like him as a comic. I think some things he says are not even problematic. I just think he part of a group of comics who have made some choices on how they want to approach topics, and it is what it is. But he's a talent. Tom Segura is an absolute talent. I love watching a lot of his stuff there. We've never met. I get so confused for him all the time. It's stopped being a joke. It's just a thing that happens. Coffee barista not too long ago went in. It's my regular spot, but she wasn't. She's not the barista that helps me all the time. And she was like, "Can I say something?" I was like, "Do I look like Tom Segura?" She goes, "Yeah, you. I thought you were Tom Segura when you walked in." So I don't know what's happening. I'd take his money and his talent. He's a great comic. Great comic. What was I saying? Oh, what was I saying? I give up. Yeah, unfortunately, he's in the Rogan group now. Yeah, they're all talented people, and they're doing great things. It's hard to argue with the audience. All right, All right, so he got a question. SMG says, "Okay, I want to badly like the Acolyte, been a fan of Star Wars my entire life. Feels cheap. The look, the dialogue, all of it. Star Wars 13 just called the House of Dragon. Am I wrong? You're not wrong. You're not right. It's different. It's a different animal. I understand the feeling on the dialogue. It's not bad dialogue. It's Star Wars dialogue. And I think they're often going for what's George did in the prequels. So I think that's part of it. But it's not cheap. It's a $180 million show, which is not giant in the grand scheme of TVs, but there's a lot of technical things that are not being factored in when people bring up, and myself included, bring up criticisms on how these shows are looking. This includes Marvel. There's an industry change, and there's an industry struggle going on right now. So there's a lot of technical things why things don't look well. Forests, sets, and it's not about the volume. It's just you can't expect everything to look like Andor. It's not doable. Andor is also 60% a Star Wars show, 40% not a Star Wars show. So to make it full Star Wars, it's always going to look different. It's just where we're at now. And I know what you mean by saying I'd like to look at like House of the Dragon, but it kind of can't. It won't. It's not doable. It's not feasible. And I am a type of person that likes Star Wars on the big screen. Acolyte on the big screen looked great in London. It looked great when I saw it at El Capitan. I saw the opening parts of the opening scene at El Capitan. When I saw Phantom Menace, it looked great. It looks different than it does on TV. And I think that's just where we're at now with TV, outside of some of those shows that are doing different things technically than what is currently going on in some of the Disney shows and other shows. But it's mostly with Disney. So that's why I say, SMG, I don't think you're wrong, because I know what you're feeling. But it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's just where we are now, where budgets are, time crunches are. It's hard to criticize VFX because a corporation like Disney is not giving their workers enough time to do the work, the crunch culture problem, all that kind of stuff. But other stuff looks spectacular. But it just looks different. It looks different, and it's always going to be different. And Andor is not a feasible show. You can't do that all the time. You just can't do it all the time. This was George's biggest problem. This has come up, if you dig in some of the interviews, was in about 2010 or so. He wanted to do Star Wars Underworld, and developed it probably way before that, but they couldn't afford it. Rick McCallum's famous interview going, yeah, we have all the scripts, and Ronald D. Moore worked on a lot of the scripts. We have the scripts, but each episode's going to be like $50 million. We can't do it. We can't do it. And George was concerned that Star Wars on TV would never look right. And I think they've pushed past it to a certain degree, but you're not alone, SMG. I every week I go, yeah. You know, especially after I watch House of the Dragon. But House of the Dragon is doing different things, and even now, look at this. They only get 8 episodes. That's a budget reason. That's a HBO budget reason. And the industry is at a standstill in this town right now, and it's scary. It's scary. But yeah, Big Lou says. There you go. That's one of the reasons I'm going to get to that super chat. I just saw it. Big Lou says it's one of the reasons Battle Winterfell was so divisive. I was one who fell victim to the dark images. Yeah. It's true. I did not. Battle Winterfell looked great on my TV. Looked great, but I was rewatching House of the Dragon season 1 on this TV Grace has, and I could that one episode that everyone complained last year or last time out, episode 7 of House of the Dragon. It's where Aemond tames Vhagar. I couldn't see anything. It's new TV. I don't know the settings. It looked kind of crazy. Battle of Endor looked great on TV. Vermont Mike says, Legacy Disney Plus only have Star Wars animated content, save the live action from the movies. That's a sentiment I understand. And Bad Batch is my favorite Star Wars show of the modern era. It's not going to be, and I like The Acolyte a ton. I think it's a really philosophically rich show, thematically rich. And I'm telling you, it looked different. It looked different in London on a giant screen. It is what it is on that regard. But we've got this big super chat I want to get to. Major problems being a major hero. Who would sponsor this bleep? Me. I sponsor this bleep. I'll call in soon. Thank you. That is super generous. That is humbling. I'm going to put it to a good cause. And by that, I do mean my next food order. But I really appreciate that, Major Problems. We're small, but you all make me mighty over here. There you go. Sorry, I can't get that down. We got, I'm going to highlight this, that. But anyways, hey, SMG, I appreciate it too. I feel you, man. And I love, this is a place for honesty and seeking clarity. And I'm not even here to push back. I'm here to just be there with you in the conversations. There we go. Big Lou says Tom Segura is one of those comics that I can separate the art from who his friends are. Yeah, but Tom and his wife they've crossed over for me a little bit too much, unfortunately, because they're super talented people. But it is what it is. Chris Kiefer's here, says, hey, I'm not able to call tonight, but I have to give a presentation next Thursday. What are your tricks for getting over public speaking nerves? Love you, buddy. Chris, congratulations on your first Fortnite solo win recently. I saw that one. That was awesome. You know what? Hold on. Plume's got a comment that is about the things. I'm going to come back to this one. Ken Plume says, we're expecting miraculous visuals across dozens of shows for hundreds of episodes concurrently. It's insanity. The audience are willfully ignorant, dismissive, and unappreciative of that ask. Yeah, it's just we are in a blessed time, but I don't think there's enough hands on deck to make it work all the time. I'm not talking about writing and directing and acting. I'm talking about the way it feels and looks, production. But the love is put into it. I had a chance to sit down and host a panel in December at LA Comic-Con with a bunch of folks, Brian Mathias, Maria Sandoval, and others who helped design and work on Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, but most importantly, Ahsoka. And they are a dedicated, talented crew. It's insane. Those costumes, the details of the costumes and the gear and the characters and some of the stuff that was in the show. Like it was impressive to hear them talk about it, but they love it. They love it. They're dedicated, but sometimes I think it's a small group. Laserbolt's here. Laser Bolt videos here. Start over. All right. We got our first call coming in soon here. Evan's up on the deck. I'm going to get to this question here. I also want to shout out David McKay becoming a channel member again here. I think that's just a resub. We're going to pay some a tribute to Donald Sutherland here as well. But I did want to do some housekeeping. I love doing the housekeeping here. But I want, that's the one I want. All right, so one of our longtime supporters and listeners around here just lost his uncle to a tough 6-year battle with cancer. And yes, you're seeing a language that is not my own here. But Tim Van Newland is a longtime supporter of mine. And he, like I said, lost his uncle. But if you have been on my Discord that you access through my Patreon page, or have been on the Force Center Discord that you access through our Force Center Patreon page, Tim Van Newland's the guy that made it possible. When Discord popped up, or when it popped up, but when it kind of became a thing you could use more, and it was beyond the gaming culture, and Patreon integrated with it, I was like, oh, this sounds good. I don't know. And I don't know. I'm not very technically savvy. Tim, a Patreon supporter of mine, DM'd me. He was like, hey, I know how to do it. I'll set it up. He walked me through it, set up some cool things. We did it for Force Center after that. He was a supporter over there. I owe a lot to Tim. I owe a lot to Tim. So I wanted to share this. He's now the address. I'm going to drop this link here into the chat. Like I said, Tim and his family just lost his uncle. 6-year battle with cancer, but they are asking for help to in memoriam of John, their uncle, to support an effort to raise money for cancer research, the ability to, maybe one day find a cure if they'll let us, and just kind of honor the memory of this man and this family by asking for support. So y'all have been generous with me. Last week you were tremendously generous with JTE and the GoFundMe for his dog Dalton. If you want to be a little generous tonight, this is the place to do it. I love Tim. We'll be putting something there as well. And I promised I would get the word out there on Mr. Van Newland. All right, the link is there. We got some more stuff coming in. We got a call lined up. Evan, you're on deck. I'm getting ready to get you in there. Where was that? There it is. All right. Back to this question from Chris Kiefer. Hey, Ken. What are your tricks for getting over public speaking nerves? Love you, buddy. It's, you know what? Here's, everyone's naked. They're more afraid of you than you. I don't know. I've never had a problem from age 12 on. So I'll go to prior to that. I did have a problem with it. I did have a problem with creative expressions. I did have a fear of public speaking or just getting up. And Vermont Mike says, a drink to steady the ship. Yeah, if you're a drinker. Look, before big stand-up comedy shows, this is why a lot of stand-up comics develop problems and have to deal with them later in life. I'm good. Swear, I tell you, I'm good. I do not drink a lot. But if I got a big stand-up show, we're drinking before. Not heavy. Jeremy says, I was thought the naked one as well, but that feels problematic now. Yeah, maybe we don't go around picturing everyone naked, and maybe you don't want to. But prior to what happened when I was about 11 or 12, it was a fear of self. It was a fear of no one wants to hear me. I don't have anything to say, and I'm uncomfortable in being who I was. And it was an inward energy, right? So it's an inward energy that I'd get, the shakes, the nerves, whatever. Now, I'm talking on a microphone. I go up on stages every week. Got it. But I still feel that from time to time. I still, especially on stage as a comic, still feel what I call that inward energy. But when I was 12, we had a video project due, an old school VHS recorded project. I do a commercial parody, and I wrote it and went up on, and you went in front of the classroom. The teacher ran the camera, Mr. Whittemore, my 6th grade teacher, Don Whittemore, at Margaret Harlow Elementary School, AG, California. and you had to like do the video in front of your class. Like they were taping it, but the rest of the class was watching you taping it. And I slayed, you know, I slayed, but I was a shy kid. I'm not a class clown. I'm not any of that. I'm not outspoken. I'm not boisterous. If you get around me in a public setting, I'm pretty quiet, pretty in the back of the room. But that was the first time that I felt that who I was in the back of my mind was finally there and present in front of everyone else. The anxiety of social anxiety is calmed down when I can control the situation. I'm on stage. I belong here. And it's not an ego like you must listen to me. It's like, this is a place that I want to be. This is a place I need to be. Now, Chris, who's asking the question, is a real good stand-up comic. I knew he was going to be a librarian because he was a very quiet comic, and he was almost not stoic, but he had a great delivery and some of the smartest jokes I remember back in the day. I wish Chris had time to either get back on stage or let me buy jokes from him. But you know, make sure, it's a confidence issue. It's acting like you belong. 8984M says it is, I feel a big part of it, also getting used to it. Yeah, absolutely. Chris says clink, clink. Big Lou says, I'm one of those figure skater kids that never had an issue being on stage to the point where I was always the host of the school talent show. I could see that. Yeah, and some, you know, sometimes it's not going to come around for you, and it's not a skill that everyone has. That's why I'm saying, like, there was never a skill set or a list I was given to improve my skill set on speaking. I think it's just being there. Now, when I fail most as a stand-up comic, it's when I feel I don't belong up there. When I feel everyone knows the truth that I am a hack, that I am not funny, and that I am not talented. And when I get up on stage and that hits, man, that's what I said, that inward energy. So when you see anything that's good for me in comedy, it's outward energy. It's outward. It's a wave of energy. I'm giving the energy from me to you. And I believe that I belong there when it works. That's when it works. There we go. Mont Mike says, taking more on this. For years, I was scared to death of public speaking, but years later, I learned to get up in front of dozens and dozens all the time now without issue. It came down to owning material, feeling comfortable, knowing that you belong there. Jonas Bergman says, when me and my band play live, we just go in the mindset we're going to punch the crowd with full force in the face. But I guess it's different than music performance and stand-up speech. No, actually, I do not think it's different. I do not think it's different, at least for me. I've had a great run of shows in 2024. Did not end 2023 with some great shows. A couple weeks I'll be in Seattle with Mark Ellis, and I... Last December, had bad shows, man. Bad shows. And this year I'm going to go, Jonas, I'm going to go punch people in the face with my energy in a polite, fun way. There we go. Jeremy Miller says, this reminds me I need to go see Inside Out to handle anxiety or see how they handle anxiety. Yeah, check it out. Andrea, who does the score, is an acquaintance. I was talking to her about the movie a couple weeks ago, and I hear great things about the movie, great things about the score. Alan Smithy says, if you go on stage naked, it helps. It definitely helps reduce the crowd size. That's the strategy. That's the one. I know a guy. I know a guy who was in comedy and a little bit in the pro wrestling world, and he hosted naked stand-up shows. And I thought, well, that's a fun, like, that's a nice gimmick. My other friend, Dan Farron, friend of the show, he was like, no, Tim does it's a naked comedy show. Everyone on the show and in the audience is naked. So, Alan, maybe that's one for you. All right, we got our first call of the night. He's been waiting patiently. And I don't want to make him wait anymore. Calling in, return of the show. What has he got for us today? It's Evan Osborne Lomax.
Hey, Ken, how's it going? I'm good. What's going on, man?
It's better that you're here now, my friend. Better that you're here now.
Well, I just want to say hey and check in. And I know we've gone over it before. My YouTube name, for a reason I won't get into, is Major Problems. So.
Oh, it's you. Yeah. That's right. No, and you clarified that last week. Yes, I forgot that. See, I glad. Don't change it. I'll change to you.
No,
you're generous.
I've
you're
gone
generous.
Back and forth. I found out that YouTube only lets you do that so many times, and the reason why I changed my name to Major Problems, which is my Warhammer 40K moniker,
Yeah.
it goes into my larger point of why I'm calling in.
Yes.
All right. And this is going to be a little bit of an impromptu three things for you, like throwing it back to the Napzok files.
Love it. Let's do it. You tell you what, with the super chat you did, you can host the show for the next hour. I don't
Oh,
care.
I want to be in it. I want to get in and out. But first of all, we talked about French fries last week, and
Yep.
I know this isn't fast food, but Buffalo Wild Wing French fries I think are way, way underrated.
Okay. Can I be honest with you, Evan? Can I be honest
Sure,
with you?
hit me.
I wouldn't know. I had to stop going there because I nearly pooped my pants over 10 times after eating there.
10 times is a lot. I understand, but you know what? That might be a California versus New Jersey difference.
Okay. I hope so. I hope so. That used to, as a lot of people remember back then, it used to be the Schmoes Know post show hangout when we were doing the Toad Hop years, and sometimes pre show. And Evan, it didn't go well, and it's a long drive back from that location to my house at the time. It was a problem.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I wanted to throw that out there into
But
the.
what? Okay, but what do you like about the Buffalo Wild Wings fries? Because we all go there for the chicky nuggies.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always get them like with either. I always get traditional wings. If they're the boneless, they're chicken nuggets. That's fine, but they're not wings. But the
Gotcha.
fries, they're just have the perfect amount of salt and pepper on them. They taste
Mm-hmm.
great, no matter whether you're dipping them in a wing sauce or your ranch or blue cheese, whatever you prefer. They just seem to be the perfect fry for dipping.
Look, you're going out on a limb here, and I don't know what to say here. This is the first time I've heard anyone mention Buffalo Wild Wings fries. I'm gonna text him. Maybe I can get him on the show. Christian Ruvacaba might. He might have a thought on this here. But yeah, you had some other things while I'm
Yes.
texting. I'm listening.
Yes. My second point is for the super chat. You are so welcome, Ken. I've said
Oh.
it. I followed you for going over a decade now. I said Jedi Alliance episode 1 was
Right.
a couple days before my 19th birthday, and I'm turning 30 in a couple weeks. So.
Oh, that makes me feel happy and sad at the same time. Happy for you, sad for me.
Yeah. I often say, I mean, I loved all of your content, but the afternoons got me through college. It really did. That was my Friday afternoon.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Afternoons was very fun to do. Time and then eventually distance kind of took it in a direction where we knew we kind of had to end it. But I talked to Josh often. We're just chatting last week. He's going through some hard times, so we'll send some love out to Josh, and I really appreciate that.
Thinking of Makuga. Yeah, and I say it often. It's a quote that it's a reference that only I get, but whenever I see something like true crime or something on TV, pops on the news, I go, "Is that a murder?" And everyone kind of just looked at me like, "What are you talking?" I'm like, "Yes, that's the murder." I'm like, so you had to be there to get it.
Okay, I want to. Maybe we might revisit this. So, for those that maybe don't know, Josh McCoog and I, after I got laid off from Collider, and then he was kind of still there, then eventually he got laid off from Collider, we started our podcast, The Afternoons, with Josh and Ken. Then eventually with Amanda, his wife, when Josh went off to film his TV show. And then at one point, we wanted to do a true crime satire parody, but we had the dumb idea to improv it because we both just like messing around, and we both are lazy and don't like prepping things. So we created the podcast, Is That a Murder? I still think that's a great idea, but it didn't hit as well because I just think we should have focused it a little bit more. So Evan, you're inspiring me maybe to revisit that idea at some point in the future.
It hit with me, Ken. That's all I'll say. It hit with me. I don't even like true crime, and that hit with me.
Okay, I appreciate it.
And
I'm not getting a response from Christian Ruvacaba, so I was going to try to have him call in to weigh on the fry things. But you said you had another three things.
My final thought is, Ken. It goes into why my name is Major Problems on YouTube. I'm getting tired of fighting, and this goes into the larger talk of the Acolyte, which I enjoy. And Ken, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I think it was a Collider video, and I came to the defense of episode 9. Forgive me.
Yeah. That's my favorite of the sequel films to watch.
I love it. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I love that movie for whatever reason.
It's fun.
I smiled ear to ear watching it the first time, and I still do.
Same.
But
Same.
I defended that video on maybe it was Collider, maybe it was SEN, I don't remember. And somebody went out of their way to use my real name. They found my actual address and they wasted a stamp to send me a very strongly worded letter about myself and episode 9 and Daisy Ridley and Kelly Rutran.
Was it the host of the show? No? Okay.
I think it might have came from north of the border, but that's all I'll say.
Wow, white tennis shoes. Look, yeah, that's insanity to me. But at least I respect them for giving the effort to stalk you and then send you a strongly but maybe nicely worded letter. That's insanity to me.
You're telling me, man.
It's exhausting. I'll tell you, it's exhausting. And this isn't about a great question from SMG 311 about, hey, this is where I'm at, honestly, with the show. What do you feel about that? That's how to discuss this, as you know. And it's exhausting, not just in the fandom, but around the world. It's exhausting, not just about bad people succeeding, but it's. I always say, bigots and racists and sexists and misogynists, that's a problem we have to deal with, not outside of Star Wars. Inside of Star Wars, it's just a problem we have to deal with in the world. But when it comes to the pedantic, when it comes to the battles over Ki-Adi-Mundi's age, which is really mostly a shield for deeper problems that they don't want to address inside their hearts and soul. But even those, I have some friends who are just like, lore questions. I'm like, number one, it's not about I don't care. This stuff is great. Be passionate about this stuff. But it's like the ability to process this and talk about it in a way that doesn't diminish both the properties and those who want to discuss it with you is something that I don't know if we'll ever fix. And it's exhausting, Evan. It's exhausting. It's one of the reasons I stopped. So happy now that I made my decision to stop talking about Game of Thrones or Rings of Power on Casualty Talk. God bless. Alden wants to keep going, and the show still goes on, but this week was an example of a scene in the show happens, and everyone's upset that they didn't adapt it from the book properly, that it wasn't as bloody, that we didn't get to see a kid brutally murdered, and how could they do that? And then meanwhile, George R. R. Martin's one of the producers of the show and had a hand in this decision. And it's exhausting, Evan. It's exhausting.
It is, Ken. I just want to say, you're my hero for fighting as much as you do, choosing when to fight, which I know you and Joseph have talked about a lot in Star Wars. And just, keep it up. And I wish you good fortune in the wars to come.
Oh, thank you, Evan. You too. Thank you, Major Problems. I will not be sending you a strongly worded letter. Thank you, and thank you for your support. Really means a lot. Amazing. Again, I appreciate the support from all of you hanging out, chatting with me tonight, asking great questions. Like these two questions back to back. Brian Jackson, Mr. McClunky, says, sad to say, and he's got a follow-up here, sad to say the great Donald Sutherland passed away, R.I.P., and then he comes back with a nice, generous super chat. Thank you. Sad Donald Sutherland passed away. So many great movies. What was yours, if you have one? Mine is MASH. MASH is great, I have to admit to knowing the show more than the movie. The movie's something I saw during film school. It was on in the background, so I have to admit I didn't pay attention to it much. But Donald Sutherland, man, I loved him in what year? I wouldn't have watched it in the theater because I was actually too young. In 1970, Kelly's Heroes. Kelly's Heroes, which is starring Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, Don Rickles, Carol O'Connor, George Savalas, and Donald Sutherland plays Sergeant Oddball, the tank guy. And Kelly's Heroes was the first time I knew who Donald Sutherland was. My mom and dad put on the movie. We rented the VHS. It was a Friday night thing. And it's a war picture, and I don't even have a super detailed memory of the plot. I remember there was a minefield they had to get through at one point. It was tense. But Donald Sutherland was Sergeant Oddball. He was his character. He had this memorable beard. He had a leather hat. It was just this great performance that early on in my young life, I didn't see him just as a character. I was like, who made that happen? and it was Donald Sutherland. I'm a fan of Kiefer Sutherland because I'm a fan of Young Guns. It was always fun that his dad was almost even cooler. Jonas says Kelly's Heroes is one of my favorite movies, and then he's flipped me off in his profile picture. Unbelievable, Jonas. And Big Lou says, love that movie so much. Yeah, I recommend you all check out Kelly's Heroes. And other ones, I'm trying to think all through the years, because at that point he just becomes kind of, Ordinary People. There's the big movies he was in, but then for me, I think he's great in Hunger Games. I don't think you should diminish that role at all for it being this big budget adaptation of a popular book. I think he's great in it, and he's someone who got the goal of the movie. Our buddy Andres Cabrera just shared a clip of Donald Sutherland saying this movie is to sort of radicalize the youth to get politically active. That this world we live in will go, that it will be destroyed, you will die, you will be controlled. Get politically active and fight the upper class, fight the rich, fight the structures that oppress, fight them. And it's Donald Sutherland having a clear picture of what he got involved in. It wasn't let me do a big picture to get a payday. He joined it because he wanted to be part of the movement. I respect Donald Sutherland for that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was there as well. Such a Big Lou says he was such a prick and Outbreak. Love that. Major Problems comes back. Backdraft is the reason I'm a fireman, for cheesy as it is. Evan, God, you're doing the Lord's work out there. And let's all thank Donald Sutherland and Kurt Russell for it, and whatever Baldwin that was. I learned from Donald Sutherland that the universe is just an atom and a pinky of a large bean, and that my pinky also a universe in it. Alan Smith, he has learned the important lessons there as well. Going back to, I saw this comment from Laserbolt I absolutely loved. Laserbolt says, I almost missed the days when movies and TV shows were mostly bad. We just loved them anyways. That's the thing, too. And I want to go back, again, SMG had the comment earlier in the show, and SMG, I don't know if you're still in chat, about, hey, I love Star Wars. I love it. The shows aren't hitting for me. They look cheaper. They look different. Like I said, I really, really understand that. I feel it at times, too. There's issues I have with not just Star Wars and Marvel, but there's issues with some of the way these shows look. And the other ones look spectacular. I still think Game of Thrones Season 8, a season I love, but I still remember watching The Long Night, The Battle of Winterfell, and just going, I cannot effing believe that this is on my TV. What a time I live in. But what Laserbolt is talking about is like, for us, the best looking show I can remember in my youth was Airwolf. Like that was Ernest Borgnine and Jan Michael Vincent flying around in a black helicopter that they shot out in the desert and had B-roll footage of. Like, that was as cool as it got. And the TV almost got the standards and the stakes and the barometer of what we consider good or bad got so high that now anything that kind of comes back down to the floor a little bit, it's not that we're judging it or being too critical. It's just it doesn't look as good, because you have shows like Game of Thrones. You have Boardwalk Empire, was a beautifully shot show. You have the big HBO shows, the Prestige Television, Rome, whatever you want to say. Love that. Oh, yeah, can we get a mention for Space Cowboys? Manimal talking about TV shows there. There you go. Oh, Jeremy says, this is a great quote. I saw an old interview of Donald Sutherland where he said, if I don't become successful at 30, I'll become successful when I'm 31. That's a good approach as well. Ventress watching over on Twitch. That's right. We're broadcasting live on Facebook. We're broadcasting live on Twitch. You can sub over there. Don't really do game stuff over there. Just do these shows. But one day, who knows? I might fire up Fortnite again. You never know. Ventress says, I always think of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie where he played her watcher. Did he? I didn't know this. I didn't watch that show. Best role? Lord, no. But he a memorable for sure. Oh, okay. Getting an update here. For those who just are tuning in, this is the Blathering Live, episode 97 of a long-running podcast that turned into, it's still a podcast, but it has now turned into this, an AM radio talk show for modern age. We go all over the place. Christian Rubalcaba of The Wangers, amateur hour film. I said, do you have a hot take on Buffalo Wild Wings fries? He said, they're okay, but never order them to go. Practically frozen. See, it's that you got to get that well done thing going. Wingstop wings, however, are far superior. That is the hot take. Okay. I'm going to see, I'm getting him a link. That's impressive. Okay, wow, Wingstop. Steve agrees. Okay, I gotta go. I'm not a big chicken winger. I like chicken tendies. I like the nuggies. Chicken wings. I do like in theory. Like every time we'd walk into Buffalo Wild Wings, there was just a whirlwind of possibilities in front of you. Just swept you up. So many places to go. And every time you looked at that wing chart, ooh, hot and mild and spicy and all the flavors. I loved ordering it, but then it just was an adventure in my pants afterwards. Major Problem says, I won't contest that. Yeah, and Steve backs it up. Fries are hard to travel. They're hard to travel, period. That is true, too. That's why I think most of my fries are eaten in the car before I pull out of the restaurant and head out on the street. LQ says Korean-style fried wings are so good. Now, I'd be willing to try that. I'd be really willing to try Korean-style fried chicken wings. That sounds good. Rich T says, I love boneless wings. And see, that's part of where I go, too. I do not like bone-in wings. And you could tell me, and someone in chat might dispute me. I bet Big Lou, I could sense it right now. I feel Big Lou typing right now about that boneless wings are shite or something like that. Big Lou's going to say that you need the bone in there for the flavor. I don't want to munch on a bone, man. We moved out of the caves, man. Like, I don't want to do that. We're in public, maybe at home, but you're mounging on a chicken bone, pulling the meat off. It's graphic. It's dirty. Your face is covered. It's bad enough. I'm going to work out after this. That's why I have my workout gear on tonight. You can't see. I have sauce. From my Huel lunch. If you know what Huel is, I tried Huel this week. It's all right. I got sauce on it. It doesn't even have sauce, but I have some of it on my shirt. So I need the boneless chicken wings so I can just pop them into my goddamn mouth. It's just where we're at. Look, I was wrong. Big Lou says, oh, no, my friend, I'm a full supporter of both style of wings. Okay. They're perfectly fine. I quarrel with the term boneless wing. That's fair. If it has no bone in it, then it's a tender or a nugget. I don't fight you on that. Major Problems, I'll salute you on that one. I don't have a problem with that at all. Hot take coming in, or hot take question. Any chicken you can dip in sauce and smash down is amazing. Oh, no, that's a hot take. Rich T. I agree with that. Jonas says, every time we talk about food in here, I get angry because I will forever remember Del Taco. I'm going to Del Taco Saturday night. It's already planned because I have to be near a Del Taco Saturday night. So I've already, in fact, today I had a very small amount of food. Like I said, I'm going to work out after this show, despite having this rum and blah, blah, blah. And I'm saving some calories for Del Taco on Saturday night. So, Jonas, get back out here. Go to Del Taco with me. Don't trust that Scribs. We had another loss this week that I tweeted about. I don't tweet much, X much, or whatever. I don't post on social media much anymore at all. Instagram, maybe do some reels, all that kind of stuff. But I did post something this week about Willie Mays. Jeremy Miller here says, just wanted to ask, with his passing, do you still have any Willie Mays, or do I have any Willie Mays cards? No, I do not. I do not have any Willie Mays cards that that like are The only real Willie Mays cards I might are like reproduced cards or something like that. But I don't like a turn back the clock or something like that. But I don't have any actual Willie Mays cards. But for years, and Vermont Mike pointed out, 660 home runs, an absolute mold breaker. Willie Mays remains one of my favorite baseball players of all time. He, for a while, I think still might be my answer for the best player of all time. And hey, we look at that. We got our Brewer fan here, Zach Anderson, saying, "Rest in peace, Willie Mays." Rich T points out Jerry West passed last week. We know Willie Mays. Yeah, next we'll check on the NFL. But yeah, Sat 93, great life, long life. There is a doc on HBO Max or whatever David Zaslav is calling it now about Willie Mays. It's really good. It was it wasn't as deep as a doc as I'd want to have for Willie Mays, but Willie's actually interviewed in it. And I recommend you look into it. It goes into some stuff. It also goes into some social issue stuff. Willie is a black player who came to Major League Baseball in 1951, not too long after Jackie Robinson broke the barrier that had been placed there by the owners and the game. Willie Mays went through a lot, but he faced some pushback for not being outspoken enough, for not using his platform enough, and they deal with it in the doc. It's the most interesting part of the doc to me. Other than that, it was, I don't want to say cut and dry. That's disrespectful. It paid homage to Willie Mays in a great way, but I do think you should all check it out there. The Rickwood ballpark game is tonight, Vermont Mike. I haven't had a chance to, I saw some pictures of it, but haven't had a chance to see any highlights. All right, going back to Del Taco briefly, then we can go back to Willie Mays. Jonas says they removed the vegan tacos. Totally agree. That is a problem. That is a problem to my house. It's a problem to my house. Grace will never go to Del Taco again because they don't have. We can only get so many franchises. See, look at that. We gotta have. You're right. You're right. Jen Murrow's right. Good God, Del Taco. What have I walked into once again? Jen Murrow's right. I talk about Del Taco too much. It's going to be so associated with me that I'm not going to be able to get jobs. If you got a question, if you got a call, don't forget, you can call in tonight. You can call me tonight. Where is there? Become a channel member, YouTube channel member. You get a post. The post says, hey, here's the link to call in. Patrons get to call in live as well. I did not put the link in Discord tonight. I just didn't want to bother people in Discord tonight. Also was working up to about 4:30, doing some work. Speaking of... or Del Taco sponsors you. Yeah, I would. Yeah, Ken Plume says Del Napzok. Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Little housekeeping here. We are getting close to. It's going to be in a sellout territory by the time this show hits. But if you're local and you'd like to come see a great night of comedy, Ken Napzok's Hot Burbank Nights. June 30th, 7 p.m., Flappers Comedy Club in the Yoo-Hoo Room, which is a great room. It's my favorite room to perform there. Ticket information on my website, kennapzok.com or flapperscomedy.com. You get to see me headline. Doing about 40 minutes, kids. Mark Ellis will be there. Jen Sturger will be there, one of my favorites. And Joe Starr will be there. He also one of my favorites. So come check it out. But I do mean this sincerely. If you're local and you're thinking of showing up, get tickets. It will sell out. It will sell out. Mike Fink is on vacay. I'm sad Mike Fink's not going to be there. I don't know when I'll be. Mike, I'm not suggesting you cancel your vacation because it's well-deserved. You work hard. You've gone through some big life changes recently. You deserve the time off. But you should just cancel it. What are you going to Switzerland? Go to Sweden? You going to the Bahamas? Cabo? Yosemite? Come to Burbank. Get some laughs. All right. What is happening here? We're still live, right? You guys are seeing me, right? Okay, sorry. I just got a notification that my video was uploading. And I'm like, no, I'm still on the air. I'm still... existential question. Am I still here? Okay, thank you. All right, we might talk about Del Taco for one more second. Sorry, Jennifer, Miro, if that is your real name. I should take Jen to Del Taco. That's what I should do. We're pals. I'm gonna drive her to Del Taco, or maybe I'll go to Del Taco and I'll get it and I'll show up at her house. There we go. Huge critter fan. Love Vokmaka. All right, Addy, I'm adding to the show right now. It's windy. What's going on? Are you calling from a drive-through? It's Jonas Berger. Jonas.
I'm calling from like decent, warm Sweden right now.
Decent, warm Sweden, where Mike Fink will be on vacation during my show, apparently. How are you, buddy?
When was he going here?
I don't know. Mike's one of the sweetest people in the world. I hope he has a great vacation. I hope he goes to the moon. Jonas, what's going on, man? And again, you're right. They removed the vegan tacos. I'll never forgive Del Taco for that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it was your best fast food restaurant ever.
Okay, it wasn't.
It was. Now it isn't anymore.
Well, the plant-based craze. First of all, we're all eventually going to have to be eating plant-based because we're all going to be just dead. But I see less fast food restaurants adding plant-based or vegan-based things here. But so I apologize on behalf. But Del Taco had you for a second.
Yeah. And you're like the small menu is like a large menu here. So
wait, in terms of options or size?
No, size is like it was pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of food and soda.
Well, God bless us, because that's what we do best in America. Do you like to overeat? You've come to the right country.
Yeah.
Do you like to have a burrito that you can't hold with one hand? You've come to the right country. It's what we do, Jonas.
Yeah. I still remember the time when me, Scribs, and John went to the drive-thru at Del Taco. It was
a good memory. Anaheim. Yeah. I don't trust it.
I wonder when like the next Star Wars celebration is in the US.
Tokyo. Oh, the next one in US? It'll be 2027 probably. So it'll be a bit. It'll probably, I'm guessing, Orlando. And there's no Del Tacos in Orlando. So we're going to have Big Lou tell us where to go when we go to Orlando this time.
What the fuck?
Is that WTF to Orlando, or the fact that there's no Del Tacos east of the Mississippi?
Both, I guess.
Yeah. Do you? This is a good. Let's have a cultural exchange. And Big Lou says, "I got you." And I also want to acknowledge Joseph Thomas, one of my favorites there. Just want to get this on record. I was also one of the people that would go to Del Taco and get the burger, and it was much better than it should have been. Double Del cheeseburger. I might get that tonight. Jonas, little cultural exchange. In Sweden, do you have any kind of restaurants, whether they be fast food or not, I don't know, or stores, that are regional and only in certain parts of your country?
We have like the fast food chain called Max. So now is HBO called only Max now?
Oh, Max. So it's not like McDonald's, it's Max. Okay.
Yeah, Max Burgers. So now when HBO changed its name to Max, it's like confusing for us.
Yeah, yeah. Order up either House of the Dragons or a burger. But so is it regional? And I know Sweden, little smaller than America. I get it.
Yeah.
But it's regional?
No, it's like in the whole country and maybe Norway and Denmark.
Oh,
and I know they have 3 restaurants in Dubai.
Wow. You've looked this up. Have you been to Dubai?
No.
So, but you're just is this information found on the menu when you go order a Swedish burger at Max's?
I think I think I read it on like the website, I guess. I think the story is like
I don't hold on, Jonas. I don't know if you do any kind of illicit drugs or narcotics or you drink yourself to death. If I recall, you don't drink at all. Do you what caused you to look at the Max website for locations in Dubai?
And no, I think I like heard a story about some like prince from the Arab Emirates coming here, and like he liked Max Burger so much, so he wanted them to open like the restaurants there.
I like that. I respect that. If you're going to become filthy rich and be dripping with unreasonable amounts of power, why not use it for good? Why not use it to bring Max, the Swedish hamburger joint, to the desert? I think I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah.
That's a question for tonight. Maybe when Steve calls in and we have a segment tonight. What would you do if you were a prince from the Arab Emirates? What restaurant would you bring to Dubai? I think it's a big, important question. Jonas, thank you for calling in. I love you. Thank you. I want to preview something, too. I saw Tiller in chat. Jonas has done some drumming for some new Moonagers music that we're working on. It sounds great. We're doing some final tinkering on the song, so the Moonagers are not done. We will have some new music out soon. So thank you, Jonas, for that.
I have one last question.
Hit me. You deserve it. Hit me.
Are you playing the tambourine when we play live?
Yes. Yes, I will. Absolutely. Tiller's trying to get me to learn to sing. I don't think that's going to happen. But I'll get up on stage. I'm going to dance like, the Mighty Mighty Bosstones had the Bosstone, the dancing Bosstone. I'll be the Moonager, and I'll just dance while you all play.
Nice.
Thank you, Jonas. You're talent and a sweetheart of a gentleman. I appreciate it. All right. Jonas calling in from Sweden. We are an international program. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, says Big Lou. If you want to call on the show, you know how to do it, but I got some questions I want to get to tonight. Rich T has a couple questions. This is great. Rich T says, by the way, when are you going to order food at the beginning of one of the Blatherings to see if it gets there before the end? Okay, so this is a great question, Rich T. I will do that one night. I think Alex and Molly do that sometimes on Stars Explained, where they have to order food or one of them goes and gets it. The only person with me here tonight is a 6-pound Chihuahua. She used to be 8 pounds. She's lost some weight. Franny's here. Grace is gone. Grace has been gone all week. She doesn't come back to the weekend. Yep, bachelor. Woo-hoo. I've just been too busy to do anything fun. Not that I don't have fun when Grace is here. I don't want that to be taken wrong. So I couldn't go. I'd have to get up and go get the food. But I thought about that, and I think we will do that one night. I think I did that on. It was one of I think that show that Molly, David, and Jill do, the Happy Hour show. I think I did that one night. I think so. Adam Witt is here. Big Johansson burger. That's what I call a Swedish burger joint. Oh, I love that. Dance like nobody's looking. That's what I'm going to do on stage. Okay, we got this super chat I want to highlight there. Matthew Stokes is just sending love. Matthew Stokes. We got some pounds up in here. Love that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Generous. I don't deserve it, but I appreciate your support. Rich T has another question here. Rich T says, Ken, you may have said this before, so I don't remember. But is there a sport you prefer over others? Do you like football more? Baseball, basketball, hockey, something else? Thoughts? Yeah, I do, actually. Rich T says, the first Blathering I caught was a couple months ago when you were stuffing Peeps. I almost killed myself with them. Yeah, in terms of questions, sports, Rich, to your question, baseball's my sport. Love baseball. Loved it from the moment I got into sports. I wasn't into sports. I wasn't raised in a sports house. My dad would watch it. We watched the Olympics But that's about it. My dad would have the World Series on. He'd have the Super Bowl on, but so I'd see it in the background. I didn't know. Like, I remember the 1985 World Series, Cardinals and Royals. Remember John Tudor pitching, but I didn't know what it was. And I was a nerdy kid. I was a Star Wars kid. I got beat up for being a nerdy kid who liked Star Wars. Then I started collecting baseball cards because all my friends were doing that. I didn't really watch baseball. This was like 86 range, 85, 86. And then 87, I met my sixth grade class, a good friend of mine, two good friends of mine. One has since passed away, my old buddy Gavin, and then my buddy Sean, who I think is out in Florida now. He used to be in Vegas for a long time. And he was a big sports guy. And in a good way, too. I know there's some negative connotations with sports fans throughout life and jocks and whatnot, and I get that. I respect that. But Sean wasn't that. And it was just fun, and I just got into it. And at the end of fifth grade, we were playing PE. We were playing tennis ball baseball, which is exactly what we used a tennis racket instead of a bat. We played with a tennis ball. And I was the kid that would be way out in left field, just put me out in left field, so he doesn't hurt the game. I'd have my hands in my pocket. I got one hand in my pocket. And a ball got hit to me, a tennis ball. I didn't even have a glove. And I didn't know what to do. And everyone's like, oh, no, it's going to him. We've lost. And I caught it. It was really far out there, too. Because, again, they were like, there was a left fielder, and then there was my position. Like, just go back to the classroom and wait. And I caught the ball. And then everyone cheered. And then I felt good. And I felt as though I accomplished something. And there's perhaps nothing more alluring than the pursuit of athletic glory in our country. Big burritos and athletic glory. It's what we do here. And I loved it. And I got into it. And then I was getting more into it. But then I became friends with my friend Sean in sixth grade. And he taught me how to love baseball and then football. And I've heard that before. I've had conversations with my buddy and Force Center co-host Joseph Scrimshaw. He's not a sports guy. But he points out, he goes, also, no one taught me how to play sports. No one taught me how to watch sports. It just was like, oh, you don't like sports, so you're out of it. You're othered. You're judged. And I think that could be a problem, especially back 70s, 80s, in the 90s. It's probably a problem now. But my friend Sean taught me, oh, you don't know the rules of football? Well, yeah. Here's what it is. It's 3 downs, 4 downs, but if you don't get to the 4th down, you got to taught me. And then we would, by 7th grade, and I'll answer your question more directly, but by 7th grade, Sean and I would sit, and with some of our other friends, but it was mostly Sean and I, and we'd test each other on players. So he'd be like, I'm thinking of a catcher, then I would guess. And a catcher, number 5. I'd be, I don't know, Tony Pena, National League. Oh, I'd be like Johnny Bench. God, boom, got it. And like we would just do that at recess or downtimes. So fostered my love of players, and then he taught me football. So in terms of sports, baseball, but I love football. Football's we're learning the science of what we may have done to our bodies. That's something that still hangs over me. I'm not completely happy with the NFL and how they've handled some of the issues around the Colin Kaepernick stuff comes to mind. But baseball's full of a bunch of MAGA players. So what are we going to do? But I love football. And right now, I am all football. I'm all in on my Miami Dolphins. I'm so back into football, even to the point where I'm paying attention to off-season NFL news more than Major League Baseball. Like my favorite baseball team's the Yankees. I have no idea. I think we're in first place. I know the Orioles are doing good. I don't know. Haven't watched the game, but I'm checking into the Dolphins Finsider to see how practice is going. All in on football. Rich T says, so interesting. I love football. I watch it, especially college. Obsessively like to teach if I can. I always come up with obscure trivia things still, or ask my friends at work. It's fun. Yeah, football's still one of my, it's just fun to watch. Rich G says, you like Dolphins? I like the Bucks. I like the guys in college. Do you have a college team? No, I don't. The only thing is I don't watch college sports. I never took to it. I watched it occasionally. I'll check it on a big game. Mark Ellis and I, when we were in Boston, we watched the women's Final Four, the Caitlin Clark stuff. I got caught up in that. Loved watching that, and we were in Boston for the finals, the semifinals, and the finals, and so we watched. I think flying back from Boston, I had to like sign up and get a service and watch the finals game. But other than that, I don't love college sports. It's never been my favorite thing. I used to joke I don't like watching after-school sports. It's dismissive of me, but it's still kind of where my heart is. So I don't watch a lot of college sports. But there you go. Brian Taylor says, go Dyers. Venture says we should replace E pluribus unum with big burritos and athletic glory immediately. I think we should. Laserbolt says, my first live sporting event was a doubleheader at Tiger Stadium against the Blue Jays in 1984. Great time. Oh, my God. On the mound, let me guess, Laserbolt. On the mound, 1984 Tigers. I'm not saying Jack Morris. I'm saying Dan Petrie. Did Dan Petrie, was he playing for them in 84? I think Dan Petrie was on the mound for the Tigers. Somewhere we know Trammell and Whitaker were there. We know they're on the team as well. 84, Kirk Gibson, Guillermo Hernandez came in to close the game. We've got Darrell Evans. Was he first base? Third base, not. It was 84. You could have had even Howard Johnson at third base before he went to the Mets. Catcher Lance Parrish, of course, and Chet Lemon roaming in the outfield there. That's a good team. 84 Blue Jays, perhaps a young Jimmy Key was on the mound, maybe a Dave Stieb. Too early for a John Cerruti type. 84 Blue Jays, Ernie Witt catching. Who would be at first base for Blue Jays at 84? You had Tony Fernandez at shortstop. Damaso Garcia at second base, Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, George Bell still in the outfield, though they didn't come to prominence till about 85, 86, but I think all of them would have been there. And then third base, too early for Kelly Gruber, but also maybe Kelly Gruber would have come up 84. But there's probably someone else there. The 84 team, I don't remember as much. Fascinating time. Jack Morris, it might have been Jack Morris. I was going to say that was, Jack Morris is the answer. Don't overthink it sometimes. Matthew Stokes says, if I may suggest, Ken and Josh, the afternoons, also featuring Mark Ellis, and Owen the Moog Moogan. That one episode is one of my most favorite things in the era. Oh, yeah. You can still check it out here. I think the afternoons feed is still up. I just had dinner with Owen Moogan last week. Ellis is out of town, but Mark Ellis is not only going to be on my show on June 30th, but Mark Ellis and I will be in Seattle July 5th and 6th. Check it out. Owen's doing great. He's working on a cool project that hopefully goes. Brian Taylor says, love college baseball, especially during the 80s and 90s when players stayed in college longer. Yeah. Brian McClunky says, don't know too much about it, baseball, but love the ballpark atmosphere and the vibes in the park. Yeah, I think even if you don't know baseball, a ballpark can be a fun place to go and catch a game. In fact, Joseph and I, Scrimshaw and I, were going to go with the Star Wars Minute guys to Dodger Stadium, Pete the Retail and everyone. We had that plan in action, and then, as often happens, plans take 5 years to happen, so. Zach Anderson says, Ken, can you tell me who threw the only complete no-hitter in Brewers history? 1987, April of 1987, Juan Nieves against the Baltimore Orioles, I believe is the answer you're looking for, Zach Anderson. Major Problem says, do you follow soccer at all? I do not. I played it heavily early adulthood and got sick of it. I'm coming back to it. Yeah, soccer, football Americano. I like that version. I'm not a soccer fan. I played soccer for 2 years, probably early enough. I was kind of forced into it. So not a huge soccer fan. My old roommate for years, I lived with a guy who was a semi-pro soccer player back in the day, and he would still go play, and he was really good at it. Loved the sport. He'd have it on with any kind of sporting event. I get excited. Like I said, even in college, if I don't watch it all the time, if there's a big bowl game on and I'm at your house, I watch it. I get excited. I like athletic competition. I like it a lot, but I didn't catch soccer. Big Lou says the only soccer I've played was watching Ted Lasso. Yeah. And there you go. I got it. I didn't, but Zach, it wasn't even a doubt in my head. Wasn't even a doubt in my soul that the answer was Juan Nieves. I'm pretty sure it was April. Let's check. Let's check this right now. Juan Nieves no-hitter. There it is. There it is. Here we go. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to bring this up just so we can get into it. There we go. Adam Witt says I'm going to get you into snooker. I'll do that. I'll do anything for you, Adam Witt. You know I will. I'll even eat Arby's for you. April 15th, 1987, Milwaukee's Juan Nieves throws a no-hitter against the Orioles. Pretty good game. Nieves struck out 7. He did walk 5. Threw 128 pitches. It was at. I don't want to play that. I'll get dinged for that. Yeah, that's right. Robin Yount was made a dynamic, death-defying catch to end the game, and off the bat of Eddie Murray. And it's a great end. It's one of the best endings to a no-hitter, I think. So check it out there. There we go. Ken Plume says, "Will not brook any Arby's slander." Arby's is perhaps one of the worst foods ever served in the history of mankind. It's mind-bogglingly bad. I don't know what to tell anyone. I don't know what to tell anyone. Warm meat, stale buns with not much on it. No Arby's for me. Joining the show now, he is always got some great calls. He knows how to do this thing. He should be a professional radio caller, if not a radio show producer. Steve, how are you?
Hey, Ken. How's it going?
Steve, I remembered that Juan Nieves threw a no-hitter for the Brewers like I was a Greek god. I'm good.
Yeah, you're on one tonight. I tried to catch up the first few minutes. It was a good one. It was good.
It's a weird night. I'm starving. I have to work out after this. I don't want to, but I have to look good for my show. It's a tough night, Steve.
Those first 10 minutes of you at 1.5 speed was a little jarring, but it was good.
What's on your mind? What do you got tonight, buddy?
Well, I've got wing takes.
Hot wing takes.
So just quick, you have to go small. You have to go small. So if you're doing bone in, you got to go small and crispy. Okay. So if you have too big of a wing, a few issues here. If you're going sauce over rub, sauce doesn't stick to a big wing the way it sticks to a little wing. Especially if you have like a sauce that has like a little bit of like consistency to it, right? Crispy is huge, and big wings don't have the flavor, right? Because as soon as you get through that sauce in that first layer, there's just a whole bunch of white meat down there. There's nothing going on, you know.
I love this. This is great. Have you written this in a pamphlet anywhere that's available to the public, Steve?
I'm here all week. Oh, I'm here every week, but
I need you here every week. First of all, gentlemen, if you're listening, take note. Sometimes your wing is too big, and that's okay.
That's okay. And crispy is important too. You got to go crispy. Soggy wings are a no-go. But there's nothing wrong with the boneless wing. The boneless wing is good. The boneless wing is great because the boneless wing is kind of like, it's like pizza in a way that, you know, it's hard to, well, you can screw up pizza, but at least like bad pizza is still decent, right? A bad boneless wing is still fine.
Still a wing.
Still fine.
Okay.
A bad bone-in wing is a lot harder to pretty up or kind of, you know what I mean, kind of get over it.
No, I agree. That's a real reason take here. We're having some good nuanced chicken wing conversations here, Steve. I don't mind a bone-in wing. Like if you put one in my hand, I'm going to suck your wing, all right? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it in my mouth and chew. But if it's it's gristly, there's something crunchy I can't explain, I'm out. I'm out like you put me in a lobby of an Arby's restaurant. I'm turning around and walking out.
I think that's the big thing with your wings. Small is key. Crispy is a big deal. I agree with you on that. Gristly is not where I want to go on my wings.
No one likes no one likes the gristle. All right.
I got two more things. First, I want your Dolphins takes. Or do you want to pay Tua?
Let me set this question for the Blathering audience because you might not.
Yeah, of course.
Fans.
Yeah,
the Miami Dolphins had one of the greatest I'll say one of the greatest. I'm not going to be a dick and cut out Joe Montana or Boomer Esiason or Ken O'Brien, but they had one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL of all time, Dan Marino, my favorite player of all time. He retires in January of 1999. We've never been the same. We've never been the same at all. We've tried. I liked Ryan Tannehill. He comes along in the early 2010s. He's not the player of the future. It doesn't happen. He's in Tennessee now. We draft Tua. We almost. I think we got in trouble for losing on purpose to draft Tua. If I recall, we had those issues. We draft Tua. He led the NFL in passing. I think the NFL in completions last year. His early 2 seasons were marred by injuries. I think he's a great dude. I watched him every episode on HBO Max's football show last year. I like him a lot. I don't know, Steve. Here it's telling. It's telling on Madden franchise mode. I just had a restart because I got fired. True story, I got fired from the Madden franchise mode for being over budget. I won 4 out of 5 Super Bowls, and then they fired me, and the game told me to retire. It wouldn't get me another job, and I had to restart my franchise mode. So I restarted, and I'm playing with the actual players now, and I'm not going to sign Tua after this first season. That might be the answer.
If you can't sign him in Madden, you can't justify signing him in real life as a fan. That's tough. I mean,
there's something soft about him, and I have to, you know what I mean? Like, there's something that I just don't know if he's the guy. But I'm excited for the season. I think he and the receivers, Waddle, Hill, we got Beckham now. I think we're going to be good. I trust him. But for that kind of money, I don't know.
Low-key, Tua is tough to play with in Madden being left-handed. That game doesn't seem like it is designed around left-handed quarterbacks. That always throws me for a loop when I play with Tua.
Yep.
Okay. I know I usually try to get out of here quick, but that really reminded me of something I just want to share. Just as a great way, you playing Madden just gives me. I just want to share this. An excellent way to play sports games with your buddies. All right, say you've got 2 or 3 friends, but you don't want to do the online thing where you play against each other. God, I hate the Ultimate Team versions and FIFA and Madden, all that stuff. I just can't stand it. I always do the franchise mode, right?
Yeah.
There are ways for you to. What me and my friends do is we play a FIFA save that we've done for years and years and years. But we use Parsec, just a program online if you play on PC, and basically it turns imagine all of you sitting on a couch together with your controller plugged into the console. All playing together all the time, right? So you play a franchise mode, you do the whole thing as you would single player. But when you play games, each person picks an individual person to control, and that is like our guy. That's our career mode guy, but we all manage the team together. So it's like co-managing a fantasy football team, but you play it in the game. So look that up, folks, if you're ever looking for a way to kind of couch co-op your sports games.
Not a sponsor, but I like, you know what it makes me think of? Being on the couch and playing GoldenEye in 1996 with your friends with a bag of Chips Ahoy cookie and Diet Coke and having a long night. I love that.
It is the golden eye of sports franchise mode. All right, I will get out of here with a very quick, I don't have a top 5, but I have a top 3.
Hit me.
Top 3 names shared in Star Wars and in sports.
Beautiful.
I have a sound effect this week, too. I want to see if this works, so forgive me if it's loud. I won't do it again if it is.
Okay.
Number 3, Obi Toppin, Indiana Pacers.
Beautiful. It works perfectly.
Number 2, Lando Norris, Formula 1. And number 1, Rey Mysterio, professional wrestler. Wrestler. That's a tough one.
Wrestler. And spelled the right way. Steve, that's a home run call. That is a home run of a call. You get everything. You get everything. You don't get a record scratch. Next time I'll have that queued up. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for your call. Always the best.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
And you got me to admit something I haven't admit publicly before, that I don't know if I trust Tua. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. It's a lot of money.
All right.
If I can.
See it. That's how you do it. I'm going to be out of here inside 10 minutes. So if you want to call in the show, now's the time. You got a question, got a comment, super chat, or you want to be a super chat. There it is. Kyle Harlow here. Love Kyle Harlow checking in here. It's like 2018 up in here. Kyle Harlow says Madden 25 DLC lets you date a 24-year-old former cheerleader after you retire. God bless it. That's funny and scary. I don't know. Brian Jackson McClunky says, Cat, a good peeps in chat. All this talk about food. I need to get some dinner and enjoy some sun. Hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you, Brian. That's oh God, that's yeah. I don't even know what to I don't the thing is, this isn't the first time in history that a 72-year-old man in a sweatshirt has dated a 24-year-old woman. It's not the first time, won't be the last time. I'm not saying I endorse it, just say that's the truth. I would never have expected Bill Belichick. First of all, I didn't know he got divorced. I know he was married, kids, everything. Bill Belichick has seemingly no personality. And yes, he's got money. If you want to be cynical and say that she's doing this for money, got it. I don't believe that's the entire picture. There is not. You're hard pressed to convince me that Bill Belichick, off a football field, has any kind of riz required to go woo a 24-year-old cheerleader. I don't know how this happened. It's mind-boggling. Of all the mismatched, problematic dating relationships and marriages we've seen throughout pop culture history, this one has me baffled. Baffled. I didn't believe it at first. 8984M says, Bill Belichick is doing what? He's dating. He's a 72-year-old retired football coach who spent most of the time in a hooded sweatshirt with the sleeves cut off, a dour personality, kind of a prick, and he's now with a 24-year-old retired cheerleader. God bless her. I don't know what she's doing over the career path now. She's in this decision-making process just as much as he is. I don't know. I'm not here to judge it. I'm not even here to question it. I just didn't believe it. And then you see pictures of them. They're flying. And it's like, this is Bill Belichick. This is the on to Cincinnati guy, if people know that sports reference. And he's like on the plane doing like relationship photos. You know, when you do the flying to Cabo and you both take like a selfie and you put it on IG and you're like, yay, and your friends like it. And I've never seen Bill Belichick smile in my life. Oh my gosh. Laser Bolt says Bill got gay. I don't know. And that's why I'm not saying like, I'm not a cynical a-hole. I don't think she's doing it for money. I don't. That to me takes away a lot of her own agency. It's just really bleak. Yes, that's happened in history, and yes, it will happen again. I understand it. And by the way, I'm not saying I wouldn't do that if I had that opportunity. I'll marry you for a week to get your money. I know Big Lou in chat would do that. He is, yeah. Major Problem says he has to be secretly chilling at a poetry slams or something. It's goddamn Bill Belichick. I don't know. You know, I see. The it's important for me to acknowledge, and we're gonna Adventures 87's calling in. We're gonna get her on the show here before we sign out. Like I'm someone. I even have a joke about this in my act. Grace and I walk into a room together. You look at us and go, how? Like how? And I've always felt that question is inherently sexist. I have always felt that question or that comment or that cynical approach is inherently sexist. And I understand it too, right? I've done it. That's why I've been guilty of it. But then I outkicked my coverage, as they say. Every relationship I've been in, I have absolutely outkicked my coverage. Proudly. It is what it is. But I think that kind of statement is inherently sexist because it really undercuts, in this situation, a straight relationship man-woman, it really undercuts the woman having the ability to see past superficial things where men generally just see women as magazine covers to collect. And if a woman has the ability to see past that, see past the hooded sweatshirt to the Prince Charming inside, then I think we should acknowledge that as at least a good skill to have, but perhaps a more developed soul, mind, and body. And I'm trying to apply that to the situation with this young lady, Bill Belichick, right? She has a choice in this matter. I would hope, I think. And she made it. I don't know. Okay. Rachel, we call her Ventures 87. She's on the show now. How you doing, Ventures?
I'm doing good. Ken, how are you tonight?
I think I'm doing good. Was I off
tell
base?
sometimes.
Help me through this. I'm going to put you in the hot seat. What do I do here?
What do you do here with Bill Belichick?
Yeah, what do I do here with Bill Belichick? What do I do here?
I don't know. I mean, everyone's a consenting adult. I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's not. Because look, adventures. I want to hear your question. I want you to go to where you want to go tonight. But I brought you in here at a key critical time. I'm 14 years older than Grace, and I can tell you there's some people who have not judged me, but have said things publicly about, like, Chris Evans, where I've heard some people in their discourse, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to tell them who I am. Like, but what do you want? Like, I met her at work. Like, what do you want from me?
No, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. My partner and I are 15, 16 years apart. And
Right.
when we started dating, everyone's like, wait a minute, what? I'm like, it's, yes. I mean, granted, 70-something and 20-something, little different.
It's a little different.
Right? But
And my friend Jen Murrow says, what do? You go on to Cincinnati. That is a, God bless it. I need to get the right sound effect up. I need the wanger. Jen Murrow wins with that comment tonight. Anyways, Rachel, Ventress. Do you prefer me to call you Rachel or Ventress? Because it pops up here in my chat as both. What do you prefer? Because I want you to have the final say.
I don't have a preference.
Okay.
I put it in there the first time I called in, so I was like, he's not going to know who Rachel is.
Right. If you just said Rachel, I would think Rachel Cushing was calling it or something. Rachel Cushing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But Ventress. Okay.
Just ask me how Sam is.
Yeah. Sam's doing great. Anyways, I've dominated your time, but I want to know what's on your mind tonight.
No, I honestly, with House of the Dragon coming back, which life got crazy, so haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
But talked about House of the Dragon tonight with the passing of Donald Sutherland, mentioned Hunger Games. So my question was, what is your favorite or least favorite, most memorable, let's say that, book to screen adaptation?
For me, it's I think I go to High Fidelity. You know what? What's the spirit of your question? Like, nailed the book, or got close to the book, or where you going?
Either, because
Okay.
I am really enjoying the AMC adaptation of Interview with the Vampire right now.
Oh, so's Grace. She
Oh,
loves it.
it's
Okay.
so good. It's so good. It's hitting all the main beats. They're taking creative liberties with certain aspects to make it better for a TV show. But I am absolutely loving it.
Okay.
But then I just watched the other Boleyn Girl movie, and I thought it was a horrible adaptation. So
Is that a ScarJo picture?
yeah.
ScarJo. Got it.
Yep, her and Natalie Portman.
Okay. I like the cast. Okay.
It was a great cast. I was very excited. I love the source material, and I get it. Different medium. You're gonna cut it down, and a 10-year story is gonna feel like it takes place in 6 months.
Right. Right.
So yeah, just what do you think has done very, very well? Whether it was people were going to say it was true or they took liberties, or conversely, what do you think? Oh, terrible, trash.
Yeah, I said High Fidelity already. A big Nick Hornby fan from back in the day, and I think High Fidelity does it's a great one-to-one adaptation. It does what it needs to do for the film. It does what it needs to do for an American audience, and maybe people could say that's stupid. Keep it in London. I think it would have been fine in London, but I love that Cusack moved to Chicago because he knows Chicago. But I see them as differently, and that's the thing too. Philosophically, over the years, I think I've changed. Where like I feel like like you said, they're two separate mediums. They should be radically different. They should be drastically changed. They should be told in different ways, as long as the spirit of the story, the themes of the story are there. But there can be bad ones, and I'm trying to get to that in my head now to give you that answer. But more than even High Fidelity, About a Boy, the Hugh Grant version, not the Minnie Driver-led TV show, though I didn't watch it, could be great. And Minnie Driver is a wonderful person. I actually provided executive protection for her at a concert. About a Boy is better than the Hornby novel. Actually, it's different in a way. The Hornby About a Boy novel is a 1993 period piece in which the death of Kurt Cobain is the central plot point. and relates to the characters. And it's the same, but entirely different. And About a Boy, the movie, is just like the soundtrack by Badly Drawn Boy. It is a sentimental, sweet, bittersweet, and at times sad but reflective and hopeful pop song. It's a song, and I just feel it's a different version, and I love that version there. So I'll put those two. I am a fan of the 2005 Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy adaptation. The biggest plot change in it actually came from Douglas Adams, as I said before. So that's why there was a lot of people, like, if that movie had been made now and the Hitchhiker's fandom was as powerful, say, like a Star Wars fandom, it would have been an annoying discourse for months, if not years, about the Trillion and Arthur Dent being a couple. But that was added by Douglas Adams because he felt the story should be told different every time he told it. So I go to those ones. Those are some of my favorites. And I'll break Game of Thrones apart a bit, and I'll say season 2 of Game of Thrones, are you ready, Ventures, for a hot take, is better than the second book.
I'd agree with that. I would. It might be a hot take, but I'm right there with you. And, I think you bring up a good point when the creator of the original source material is involved and signs off and has input on those changes.
Yeah.
They want to tell the story differently, and it's their story. They have every right to do so.
Yep. Yeah, and I think regardless of what happens in the show and what people feel about it, I'm very open that I love all the seasons of Game of Thrones. Season 5 has some wonky moments for me as well, and season 7. But season 2, I think they got to do what no one does with George R. R. Martin, which is edit the hell out of him.
Yep.
Which is, they story edited George R. R. Martin in a way that he needs, and clearly needs now, because he can't even finish Winds of Winter because he's so written himself in a corner. And season 2 just goes, boom, here's what's going on. And that's why I say that. So, anyways, as far as bad, it's tough for me to answer, not just because I try to keep it positive. It's beyond that. I'm trying to give you an answer, and I don't know. Like, I'm really trying to think. I'm really trying to give you that answer. I will say I read the Hunger Games books. I read them, And Christian Harloff was the one who said, "You got to read these books." I loved them. I read them. I cried when one of the characters died. I was there. I didn't like by the time I liked the third book, and it's dark, it's bleak. But by the time the movie got to that point, I was kind of out. I don't know. It couldn't pull the magic forward for me, and I liked the first one.
That's fair. I haven't seen the film adaptation of I'm gonna mix it up. The Ballad of Songbird. The prequel?
Oh, the prequel. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, but I get that they probably struggled. They fell prey to we're going to split the last one into 2 films. They didn't need to.
They didn't need it.
They didn't need to.
Yeah.
It was get in, get out, tell the story. And, I get it. Hollywood's different than publishing for physical media. But yeah, I love the first 2 movies. And when they split, I can't even think of the name right now. When they split the final one into 2 films.
Mockingjay? Yeah. Big Lou says it. Hunger Games, Mockingjay did not need what she said.
Yeah.
Highlighting Ventress there. Yeah. Great stuff. Ventress, I appreciate the call, and I appreciate you talking me through a tough point in the show where I just needed some advice.
Oh, always here for you, buddy.
Thank you. Ventures87 called in there. We got a couple calls. I was going to wrap up soon, but guess what? As always happens here, we got some folks lined up. So if you got a question, you got a thought, you get it to me. Calling in right now is our good friend Kyrie 8984M, a.k.a. Brady. What's going on? 8984M, what's on your mind?
Hello. I think there's been a couple of notable sports figures passing.
Yeah.
And big one recently was Jerry West.
Absolutely. Mr. NBA.
I felt like he was in the 60s, of course. So I didn't see him play. I don't think
you missed that. You missed that. I did too.
I kind of missed that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but most NBA fans probably did not see him play, and most NBA fans are younger.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think it really got to know like his character in the show Winning Time. Yeah. They should bring back.
It's a tragedy that got canceled. Yeah.
Yeah. But the man, he is the logo of the NBA.
He's the logo.
Like
when they finally put me on the Del Taco logo, it's like that.
Yeah. And he won finals MVP as the loser, the losing team. Which was, they made a great joke about that in the show.
Yeah, they did. No, and I know, and I'll say too, I know that Jerry West, before he passed, like he was actually going to sue the show, and there was some they didn't like the depiction, and it was a dramatized version of it. But Jeff Pearlman, the author of the book, which I think is actually Showtime, the story of the Lakers. Pearlman's great. He and I follow each other on Twitter. Highly recommend following him. He defended it. He's like, look, man, in my book, I interviewed a bunch of people who knew you, and this is what they said. I don't make stuff up. This is you, man. Sorry it hurts. This is you.
Yeah, and it just someone who's followed just how his interviews, it is in his persona. I think they kind of nailed him. He has a legendary status as he drafted Kobe, and he got Shaq on the Lakers in '96.
Built that next generation.
Yeah, but he's kind of to be that competitive after your playing years as a coach and as a front office executive. You kind of have to be an asshole.
It's the downside of the sports world. And as someone who played sports and coached sports, I was a baseball coach too. Like I was never that, but the competitive spirit, I get competitive. Sometimes when I lose Fortnite matches, I don't throw things, but I want to. Like it's human nature, and I think you can make it good. I think you could also let it control you. So I get it. I understand where he's coming from. I just think sports is about the journey, not the destination. But when the destination literally can make or break your life or your career or your finances, I get the pressure.
Yeah, especially when he played. A lot of NBA fans say back then they were just plumbers and
it was a different time.
Yeah, but if you're playing a sport professionally and then you also have a 9-to-5. You gotta be really good. That is tough.
That is tough. Yep. Jerry West, rest in peace, Jerry West. What else is on your mind, buddy?
Well, that was it. I did have another topic, but I know you're trying to.
Well, hit me. What you got? Rich T says Chuck Hawley is the only Super Bowl MVP for a losing team. That's right. I was, Cowboys. A great pull there, Rich T. But hit me. What you got? I got 2 calls lined up, but 898-4M. I stopped for you, man. I'll stop the world and melt with you.
Okay, so I have a couple of. We had some cultural exchanges earlier in this call. I kind of have some questions about white American culture.
Yeah,
I've heard a bit about my Asian American culture.
I'm an expert on the dumb things America does. Hit me.
Okay, so I've lived in this country for all my life, so I'm familiar but not too familiar. So I gotta know the deal. Like, what's the deal with casseroles?
I thought you were going to be like, so, what's with the class structure here? Or the casseroles. Goddamn casseroles. Oh, my God. Big Lou says it's a Southern thing. I don't know. I don't love a lot of casseroles. The only one I love, J&B says they're tasty. Steve gestures at the Midwest. It's in the advertising. It's similar to meatloaf. There's nothing appealing about the word meatloaf. It's the worst word ever to describe a pretty tasty meal when done right. I bet my friend Jen Burrow, if she's still in chat, I don't think I've ever had any meatloaf she's prepared, but she's one of the best cooks I've ever been around. I bet she could nail it. If she was like, come over tonight for meatloaf, I'd say, well, Jen, I'm engaged. But 2, also, I'll try it. But casseroles, I don't know. The only one I like is tuna noodle casserole, which is something my mom used to make. And my mom was, admittedly, she was not the best cook, but she could nail that. And I love that. And I don't know. It's just a bowl of everything you like squished together. I don't know the appeal. I don't love it. And I'd never thought of it as being American, central to our country. That's fascinating.
I think in the chat, Vermont Mike says it's a Great Depression thing. Where people, it makes a lot of sense.
Vermont Mike and I would both know what to serve to each other on depressed nights, and casserole could be one of them. Making it is daunting. There's a lot of opening of cans and dripping of sauces. It's a thing, but I don't know.
I think the Chinese equivalent of a casserole would probably just be like a stir fry. You just leave literally anything in it, just like meat. Of course, you gotta have some garlic and whatnot, but just meat, whatever veg, and you just toss it in the.
Put it together. Green bean. So we got some green bean casseroles. The goat says Big Lou. I trust him. And this is funny. Vermont Mike, I put this up. Vermont Mike grew up on tuna noodle casserole. I'm convinced Vermont Mike and I lived the same life, just in different states. And then Big Lou says my mom used to make tuna noodle casserole. I got to text my mom. I thought it was, I didn't know it was just, maybe it's just an 80s thing. Lou and Mike and I are all kind of in the same age group. Maybe we grew up, was there something in the late 70s, early 80s that the tuna noodle casserole swept the nation? We need to do a documentary about this.
Yeah, this is what we got to explore.
Well, this is a great question. I love it. I don't have the answer. I hope you call in with more cultural exchange questions.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating because, like you said, born here in the United States of East America, but obviously raised with multiple cultures in your house. It is a fascinating take to be like, what casseroles? What the hell?
Yeah, I think I want to highlight LQ. It says we have clay pot casseroles in Chinese cuisine, and clay pots is I
would trust. See, here's the thing, and this is not. I'm not making a cheap joke at the expense of America. I love this country, but something like that. Again, with the Korean like barbecue wings and all the stuff like that, there's just something more interesting to me when someone's like, "Oh, in the Chinese culture, we have this or that." It's just, I don't know. I fall for it. You could be tricking me. You could be serving me the worst food ever from it's like, oh, in Korea, this is like number 25, but I'll treat it as number 1 on the depth chart here. I love hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just trying different things, unfamiliar. A lot of Chinese food is just comfort food to me, but someone else is like, whoa.
Flickin' Real says, a 90s kid, we had tuna noodle. All right, at least 1 month. Alan Smithy says, my cow joke is accent on the screen for a second. Well, let me get that up, Alan Smithy. What do you call a field of cows masturbating beef stroganoff? Beef stroganoff. Oh, I didn't even read the joke right. God bless me. Alan Smithy. That's funny. Number 1, it's funny, and that's allowed. 2, I don't know if I'll pay for that joke, but I might just steal it. No, I'm kidding. Brady, 898 for M. Kyrie, the man of 3 names. Thank you for calling in.
All right, thank you.
All right. Moving on. We got a couple calls left here. I got to get to them. I'm telling you, I'm going to get this show over with. I was going to go work out. I'm still going to work out. I got to look good for my show. I got to look goddamn good for my show on June 30th. I did not like the footage of myself from my show a week ago. I got the footage because I had a good set, and I was putting some clips up. And I was like, I looked like an absolute, not in terms of just size. I'm bigger than I want to be right now. I looked like a homeless man. So anyways, speaking of not homeless men, on the show right now is Michael, the detective, the doctor. Everyone checking in here right now wants to hear the story. How you doing, Michael?
I am doing great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful, but I'm doing even more wonderful knowing that you have started the next chapter of your great romance with your partner, an engagement. How's it feeling? What's on your mind?
It feels surreal, to be honest. To get a little deep. I never expected to be here. Never expected to be where
Let's get
at
deep,
this point
man.
in life.
Let's get deep, man. Michael, let me slow you down here. You're just recently turned like what, 30-ish? 30?
Just hit 31 last week.
31. So when you say I didn't expect to be here, you're talking about a fulfilling, long-term relationship, right?
Yes, probably something a little darker at certain points in my life, but yeah, I had fully given up. I think COVID only made that worse, as
sure
you probably imagine. But sure. I just never thought I'd be here, and then she came out of the blue.
How did this start? Where did you meet? Truncated version of the story, but where did you meet?
So technically, she works at the haunted house that I work at, but I didn't meet her the season she started. I met her about a month and a half after. I actually met her on New Year's Eve.
So not necessarily, I'm hearing this right, not necessarily co-workers, but colleagues in a roundabout sort of way?
Kind of, sort of. Like, it was her first season.
Okay.
And by the time she was there, it was my 8th season. And once you're at that point, and I also worked the security there, it's hard to kind of get to know a lot of the newer people because there is a lot of turnaround.
Look, it's like the 7th, 8th, 9th season of Schmodown. A bunch of people were showing up, and I was like, I don't know who you are, and I don't know if I care. So I get you.
Yeah. So we actually met New Year's Eve at a bar. She was invited there by one of the other security guys, just because he was actually the age difference is weird. Her dad is his boss, and
okay.
So they're both engineers, and her dad's like well into her 50s and whatnot. But my coworker's in his early 40s.
Gotcha. So he felt something. He felt that maybe this was something this would work, or were you introduced as friends first or romantic partners?
He didn't even mean it as a way to introduce us. He just wanted to help her get to know other people there, just because she's very shy.
Love that. Thank you, Alan Smithy. Okay, so this blossom, but I love, and you say, hey, I don't want to get deep here. No, this is what we do here on the show. We get deep when we need to get deep. I feel what you're saying. Had you had a long stretch of your life, was it loneliness, no relationships, not knowing how it was going to work, giving up, you had said, things had gone bad? You don't have to give me details, but what brought you to that it's not going to work for me point in your life?
It's kind of an all of the above situation. My only girlfriend for any amount of time prior to her was like 2017.
Okay.
And we met at the end of so technically 2021 going into 22. So it had been quite a few years. And like I said, just because of COVID, not going out, meeting people, and just
lockdown.
That's kind of stopped trying. And that was, at that point, COVID was kind of on the downswing.
Yeah, the downswing.
So
it's still around, but I know what you mean. Yeah, look, I feel it, Michael. I feel it. The reason I'm asking about it, I'm not prying into your life. I think a lot of people might need to hear that too. Like, I started late, I bloomed late, and I was, not in any real relationship till I was about 28, and then that was not a great one for 3 months. But then soon ended up one that was like for 4 years and it was good, and it didn't work out, but it ended okay eventually. And then I was in another one for like 5 years, and that didn't really ever take. And then there was someone else in my life that it wasn't happening. There's a great song by Tom Odell called "Magnetized." That was my anthem. Like, why can't someone be magnetized to me? And I gave up. There was a night in which I had a party at my house, my apartment, and I invited people from my life over and people from work over, and one of them I invited over because I kind of had a crush on her, but I just figured it didn't work, and the party ended, and I wasn't expecting to go to bed with anyone that night, to be blunt, but I was like, I went to bed emotionally alone, and cried myself to sleep in a broken-hearted way. And I don't know what your relationship with any kind of supreme being or any thought. I don't know. I believe in God, but I don't even know what that is. But I just remember about 3 a.m. Saying, I am done. I am broken. I'm alone forever. And God, I guess this is it. My phone buzzed, and it was Grace. And she texted me and had been at the party and said some nice words. And now 8 years later, here we are. And I know what you mean when you say, I didn't think I'd ever get here. I was at that bottom. I thought it was done. Pack it up. We're done forever. And now here we are. So I celebrate your love, but I celebrate the journey that you allowed yourself to go on. Every hurt, every pain led you to where you're at.
Ooh, you're not wrong there.
Yeah,
it's definitely wonderful to know that I at that one day, and I've never. We haven't missed a day since. We've spoken literally every day since that night, and it's just not
You're like Paul and Linda McCartney. Look at you. Love it. Love it.
Oh.
Love it. Michael, I appreciate the open honesty of your call there. So in the effort of trying to get me to get into the gym, I'll start to cut it short. But any final big thoughts and what's the next step and when's the wedding and what are you doing?
Wedding won't be for a few years. We're just not in a situation where we can. We actually don't live together, not by choice, just financial issues, unfortunately. But it'll be after I graduate college.
Smart.
But I do have one little thing. Is this what you expected me to sound like? I know I have very much made it a big thing that I am Cajun.
This is your first call in.
Yeah.
Now, no one can see you, but I can. I'm not going to bring you up to Oregon camera, but I can see in the green room. First of all, you're a sexy young man. You got long hair, and you're in a tank top. You look like you're the lead singer. You look like the lead singer of an NXS Depeche Mode cover band, and I think that's great. No, you sound absolutely sexy, my friend. You sound wonderful, as all my callers do.
I guess I guess to me, a lot of people when I hype up the Cajun thing, they expect me to sound like a lot of my cousins.
You almost said it there, my cousins.
No, a number of them you would probably need subtitles to understand, even though they're speaking English.
I had a close friend. I don't talk to her much anymore, but she was from Thibodaux, Louisiana, and
my mom went to Thibodaux High.
That's amazing. So almost 20 years ago. So she, and to be blunt, she was another woman in which it didn't work out and I loved and blah, blah, blah. But a good friend. And she went to her family and she called me one night. The phone rang. This is also, when you'd answer your phone more than you do now. And they literally passed her cell phone around to everyone in the family to say hi to me. Michael, I thought I was in a sketch. I didn't know what a Tim Robinson sketch was, but I thought I was in one. It was insane. It was insane.
My mom's mom speaks French. She used to be a tour guide and gave tours in French at a plantation. I can actually still, I can't speak it back to her, but I can still understand.
It's amazing. Yeah. It was. I'm not even making fun. I was dying laughing in the most good, but it was just like, I can't have no man come around here. I was like, whoa, what is happening?
Look, some stereotypes exist for a reason.
Yeah. Anyways, I love it, Michael. Appreciate it. You sound wonderful. And there you go.
Glad I could finally call in, Ken.
No, call it again. Congratulations, buddy. Okay.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Take care.
Michael McCarcel. We call him Detective, and as of tonight, Doctor is the name we give him. All right. I was getting an update. Christian Rubicaba says he couldn't call because he was running and then he showered. You all should tweet him and say, how dare you shower, call in the Ken Show next week. Okay. Boomhauer is the king and Kingo's absolute real person, says 8984M. Yeah, that was, that's like Texas, but like, I'm not even doing the Thibodaux accent justice because it sounds like I'm making fun. I'm not. It just was mind-blowing how real it was. Ventress says, see, this is why I don't run. That's the correct answer. Laserbull says the coach for the water boy is real. I did stand up with the coach for Waterboy, I think, if I remember his name right. Final calls here tonight. We got the call in. He's in here. I think he's ready for the call. I only see the top of his head. But check it in here right now is my buddy, Johnny M. from Long Island, who recently got to take batting practice at Yankee Stadium, and he deserved that chance to do something so cool. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Ken. How are you, man?
I'm having, you know what? I didn't, like I said at the top of the show, I'm not having a bad week. Just a busy, stressful, a lot of things going on week. I came home today, Johnny. I had to take a car into a shop, which is great. You got to swipe the credit card now for that. I come home, and Grace is gone. I come home, Franny, our Chihuahua, is on the couch, and she has separation anxiety. So when you come home, she's going to start whining and crying. And I was ready for that. Like, oh, Franny, Daddy's home. I opened the door, Johnny. Franny is sitting on the edge of the couch like a naked old man with her little tummy hanging over her paws. And I go, Franny, and she goes, bruh, and just barfs all over the floor. That's my day.
I mean,
but I get to this show and I feel great.
That's love, Ken. Like, taking care of the dog being willing to barf in front of you. All of that is love.
There we go. There we go. Love it. What's on your mind tonight, my friend? Are you here to talk about All American Burger? What are you talking about?
No, I'm calling in. I went to the way on this whole existential crisis I tuned into where you're having you're not sure about the age difference stuff, and it's like I have a perspective on this.
Okay, I want to hear it, and I'll set it up here. Like the serious relationships that I've had. One was a year older than me. The next one was 10 years younger. But I will say she was 20, I was 30. In that situation, I don't know if I'd do that again, but the relationship was fine. The next one, she was 5 years older than me, and now some years younger than me. So I go all directions, but I've never really thought about it. Yes, I play Fortnite every night, but I wouldn't count that as emotionally mature. I don't know what to tell you. I met someone, I liked them. They eventually let me know that they like me. What am I going to do? Your perspective, Johnny.
I think it's hard enough to meet somebody on this planet, as crazy as that sounds, because there's so many people. But to find somebody that you're compatible with, and to find somebody that compliments you and you compliment them, right? If it works, it works, right?
Yeah.
I get, because I came in a little bit late, and you were on the Belichick thing when I came in.
The Belichick thing, which again, major problems, reminds us she's 24, his son is 37.
Yeah. It's not my place to judge it. If it works, it works. If it works for both of them,
Right.
God bless, Godspeed, whatever.
Godspeed, Rebel.
But more importantly, talking about a real relationship in you and Grace, having seen you two together, there isn't anything more right. If you guys are wrong, I don't want to be right in this world.
I love that you turned that into a Taylor Swift song lyric, and I respect you for it. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And, it's 8 years. It's life. It's real. It's always tough. We're under a lot of stress, and we're making it work, and we will make it work, and we always make it work. But, yeah, I feel you. Yeah, it was easy. It was just easy. I told the story the night I asked her to be engaged, and I know it's confusing. We have no plans to get married, but we are permanently engaged, like Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. I told the story then, and I don't know if I ever told it on air, Johnny, but so that moment that I just shared where she had texted me and everything, and we were working, and we couldn't be public at Collider because there was a person at the top of the chain who refused any inter-work relationships, even though he said you all can, to the women, he said you all could sleep with me if you want, or, I'm cool like that. That's a different conversation, but we had to keep it secret. Then that guy got fired. And so then we went public, and that's the Schmodown angle was our way of going public. I was like, well, this is a way to get it out there, I guess, and do that. But then, what had actually happened after the text and everything, we decided to meet up for a non-date. And Johnny, I swear to God, man, I pulled in. I was nervous, she jokes about it. She was downplaying it. She did not want to start a relationship. She liked me, but she was like sweatpants, hair up. We were going to play Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit. It's not a date. We're just friends from work hanging out. I walked up to her house, Johnny, and there was a little gate in front of it, and I went to reach for the gate, and a voice inside my head said, "You pass that gate, your life changes forever. Swear to whatever God you believe in." It wasn't a voice outside my head. I'm not crazy, Johnny, but it was a voice inside my soul that said, "You cross that gate, your life changes forever." And it did, and it did, and I can't explain it. So I appreciate what you're saying.
No, and that's all that matters, man. Like, God bless the two of you, and you guys keep me believing in love, right? And some of the stuff I've been through, right? For those listeners that aren't privy, yeah. I am divorced, but I was married to my high school sweetheart.
Yeah,
and falling out of love is the hardest thing you can do.
Yeah.
But watching people who are meant to be together find their way together is what keeps this world going.
Big words from a man from Long Island. From a man who thinks a cheese or an egg sandwich is the most important thing in the world. I appreciate it.
It is, Ken. It's cheese and egg sandwich and then love.
I appreciate the kind words, Johnny. Venture says the last first date, gotta love it. You and Grace just fit together. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. It's I truly give it up. Johnny, thanks for calling in and taking us home. This is going to be another 2-hour episode. But look, I love this. This is an AM radio talk show for a modern era, and AM radio talk shows sometimes go 4 to 6 hours. So maybe we'll do that. And maybe one day I'll do it. Thank you, Johnny. Any final words of advice before I head on out?
Choke up on the bat if you're trying to make contact at Yankee Stadium.
Johnny, I choke up on the bat all the time. That's how I'm so relaxed all the time. Giggity. All right, Johnny's gone. Johnny M. 8984M says, "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more." Hey, I want to shout out this for those who check into the show. Our biggest win with Ken and Robbie is on an unexpected hiatus. Robbie had some more medical issues pop up, as often is the case with that angel of a human being. So if you know and follow Robbie online, he's home, he's doing good. But tweet him, Facebook him, Instagram, whatever. If you follow Robbie Smith, usually Robbie M. Smith on social media, send him some love. We want to get back to doing the show. We will get back to doing our conversations. Robbie's one of my favorite human beings of all time. But fighting through, coming on the other side of some things, but send him some love. So update on that as well. Don't forget, that's the end card. Young Guns commentary is up. It is going, and I will be doing Young Guns too. Don't you worry. And again, if you're local, or even if you want to frickin' fly out, it's going to be a great night. And we're going to go to Islands after, or maybe Barney's. I don't know. Hot Burbank Nights, June 30th. I know when my show is. 7 p.m. Yoo-Hoo Room. Going to be a fun time. Jen Sturger's on the show. Absolutely love Jen Sturger. One of the great joke writers of our circle. Someone who's battled through a ton to be the person she is now. I really love and respect Jen Sturger. That's why she's on the show. Joe Starr, one of the kindest souls I know. One of the most talented, funny, insightful, hardworking dudes I know. During some very dark times at Screen Junkies, Joe was one of the people that made me show up to work every day. And then Mark Ellis, big asshole, and he'll be on the show as well. So a lot of fun. June 30th, if you're local, I really want you to come. Tickets are selling out. Good ticket sales, which is awesome. So don't sit back. Don't think you can get them at the door. Get them now. Thank you to all the people who called in. Thank you to the super chatters. I really appreciate it. Big Lou says, I have a job interview tomorrow. I'll get the job. If I get the job, I'll fly out. Hot damn. You know what that means, Lou? I'm going to see you because you're going to fly out. Also, you have some editing to do, Lou. Get to it. There you go. There you go, my friends. That's the show. We'll see you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.